Welcome to the Bearcat Beat on LSPN, where each week we share conversations about everything that makes Sherman ISD athletics so great. I'm your host, Chris Daly. Sherman Bearcat Athletics represent the heart and soul of our community, where champions are made both on the field and in the classroom. Our student athletes embody the Bearcat spirit through dedication, perseverance, and excellence, creating memories and building character that will last a lifetime. Remember, it's better to be a Bearcat. This is just one of the many amazing things that the Booster Club accomplishes throughout the year for all sports. If you're interested in joining the Sherman Athletic Booster Club, or if you want to purchase some merchandise to show your Sherman Bearcat love, you can visit the website at shermanisd.net under the Athletics tab. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Bearcat Beat. I'm Chris Daly. I am joined today by Coach Kenny Wilkerson, the powerlifting coach. Welcome, Coach.
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh, you bet. You bet. You know, and I just threw powerlifting out there like, oh, it's another sport, but it's not just another sport there at Sherman, right?
No, sir. It's a pretty deal right now. We have a lot of success and a lot of kids that are involved and from all walks of the different programs, from band to volleyball to football. Everybody has some kind of hand in powerlifting. So
see, I never would have pictured band and powerlifting going together.
Yeah. One of my strongest kids is actually in the band, and he's a junior who made state last year as a sophomore, and he's a heck of a lifter, and he's big into the band too. So
does he carry the tuba?
He does not. He does not. It's a much smaller instrument.
I was going to say, tell me it's not a flute. Nice. So let's talk about last year. State champions. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. You know, like I said, everything is kind of aligned for Colby Ray to be able to win state. You know, he was able to win regionals. We knew he was a heck of a lifter, but there's a lot of really strong competition out there, and he just stayed the course, and at the end came out on top. And it was great for that young man. Nice.
And, you know, obviously natural ability is a huge piece of that. But, you know, I've been learning more and more about powerlifting, and there's a lot of strategy involved too, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, that was the one thing for us going into state. And that's what I kept trying to explain to Colby is you have to focus on your numbers, and you can't be chasing anybody else, because some people have a big squat, some people have a big bench, some people have a big deadlift, but at the end, it's the one who is most consistent across all three that's going to come out on top. Nice. And that's where he did.
Nice. And talk to me about what you had come back this year for the team.
Well, on the boys' side, we had 9 boys qualify for state. We have 7 of them back this year. On the girls' side, we also had 9 qualify for state, and I believe we had 6 of them back this year. So there's a heck of a lot of really good younger lifters as well. So, you know, we look forward to a lot of success this year and seeing those kids wearing a lot of medals at the end of it.
Yeah, and as they say, the cupboard is not bare.
It is not. It is not. We're pretty lucky.
That is awesome. And you just finished a big meet, the Iron Cat Invitational. Talk about that one.
Well, you know, it's our big annual meet here. It's a lot goes on with the Iron Cat Invitational. When I came back here 4 years ago, I wanted to bring a powerlifting meet back to Sherman. When I graduated Sherman High School in 1997, we always had a big meet that we shared with Denison, and it was called the Sheridan meet back then. And 1 year it would be at Denison, and 1 year it would be at Sherman, and we just alternated years. But neither one of us had a meet anymore that we were hosting. And so I was like, all right, we're going to start something up. And I'd kind of adopted Iron Cat as our pseudo logo for the powerlifting team. And so we started the Iron Cat Invitational. And that first year we had about, I'd probably say about 12, 13 schools, right around, 200 lifters. And then it's just only grown from then. This year we had over 20 schools here and over 300 lifters compete. Wow. So it was pretty incredible to see. And the biggest thing about the Iron Cat is it's very multifaceted. It really showcases our facilities. It showcases our indoor and our weight room and just what we have here at Sherman, the new stadium that's being built right outside of there. Everybody gets to see it as they're walking up. But it also showcases all of our sports that came together. Like, we had soccer helping spot a rack, and we had baseball helping throughout the entire thing, and, extra football guys. And, there was other powerlifters who weren't competing that night. They were working tables, and we had probably 20 volunteers from all over the community come in to help us run different racks. So it really is one of those kind of events that brings everybody together in one place to showcase what Sherman can do.
I love that. And you talk about, working together with Denison. That's like what? Sherman and Denison working together is so different.
Well, something I did that a lot of people didn't do or haven't done is I bought a set of powerlifting equipment. So the racks and the benches and all that kind of stuff as a program, and we loan it out so for other people to be able to run meets. Because it takes a lot to be able to run a meet. We have 8 platforms, so you have to have 8 squat racks capable of that, enough weight, enough competition benches and things like that. So like actually this Saturday, Denison is hosting their meet using our equipment over there. And they're good friends of mine. The guy who's one of the powerlifting coaches over there was my assistant for a few years when I was at Gainesville. And so I've known those guys for a long, long time. And they're great. They're great guys. Even though we're mortal enemies for 1 week a year, they're still great guys, and we work together as much as we can.
I love that. And talk about the benefit of powerlifting for schools that aren't really big in powerlifting. And you mentioned it being related to band, but it's much more related to all the other sports too. So tell them, why it's so important.
Well, the thing about powerlifting, and I talk to our athletes about this all the time, is in the weight room, I cannot make you a better soccer player. I can't make you a better softball player. I can't make you that's not what I'm doing in the weight room. But what I can do is when you hit that ball, it will go further and it will come off that bat harder. When you throw that ball, you will throw it harder. When you kick it, or whenever somebody's challenging you for a ball, you're going to have the power to push them off of it and win those physical type battles. And that's really the benefit of powerlifting, is that you're getting stronger. And so it takes those skills that the other coaches are working on, and it helps them do them better. It helps enhance those skills. The other thing is about powerlifting is it's really a mental game. Like I tell my kids, we never focus on medals. I could care less if you ever win a medal. Having a state champion is great. But the best part about Colby Ray and that whole situation is every meet he got better. Every week from week to week, we're improving, and that's our goal. And so if you come in and you squat 5 pounds more than you did last week, man, that's great. That's success. And you're pushing yourself against your numbers. You're not necessarily competing with anybody else. If you focus on somebody else, then you're going to be falling behind, right? You got to focus on you and what you can do and pushing yourself as hard as you possibly can.
Definitely. Another thing I've learned this year that I wasn't aware of is the difference between equipped and unequipped. If you could explain that, because that just blew my mind.
Yes, sir. Well, I was very fortunate. I was actually the girls' state president whenever we brought unequipped in. And it's always been kind of a project of mine, because equipped powerlifting, you have a squat suit, a bench shirt, you can use knee wraps, you can use some equipment the purpose of it is to protect you, to make sure that you can lift safely, really heavy weight. But a byproduct of that is that it can help you lift a whole lot more weight. Right. And so I've always been one of those proponents of there has to be both. You have to just be able to test how strong you actually are, just you and the bar. Right. And then you have the equipped side of it, because there's a lot of technique and things involved, and it's a lot of money involved. As a girls' state president, I realized that there was a barrier to entry. And a lot of schools didn't want to participate in powerlifting because a shirt costs $200 and a suit costs $250. A good set of knee wraps is $80 to $100, and then you add a belt. So now a kid in powerlifting is wearing as much as a football uniform and shoulder pads and helmet cost. And so there was a barrier to entry. So by removing that, going unequipped, then we could get more people involved in it. The thing is, on unequipped, is you wear a singlet, so similar to what you wear in wrestling, right? You can wear knee sleeves for a little bit of knee protection, but essentially all that is a neoprene knee sleeve that you pull up, gives you a little bit of compression, and a belt. You can use wrist wraps because they don't have any kind of wrist sleeves or anything, so just to protect your wrists while you lift. But that's all the equipment that you can use whenever you're lifting, versus all of the squat suit, bench shirt, knee wraps, and everything on the other side.
Nice. And tell me about your season, what that looks like, what you do each month and where it accumulates or culminates with the state titles.
Well, so our season really begins at the beginning of January. It's kind of a short season. It usually lasts, depending on how the calendar falls, anywhere between 7 to 9 weeks.
Okay.
This year is about a 8-week season, really, whenever you get done. So the second we get back from Christmas break, we can start meets, and then you can lift once a week up until you hit your regional meet, which our regional meet is the beginning of March. I believe March 3rd is our equipped and March 4th is our unequipped. So we can have those as many meets in that time if you only lift once a week as possible, but you don't want to do that. So like my goal is the kids lift 3 times in that period, just to kind of know where they're going to be. And if we have to qualify in different weight classes or equipped versus unequipped, because you can do either or. There's lots of movement, like you're talking about strategy earlier.
Yeah.
That's part of the strategy that goes into it. And then once you hit the regional meet, then you have about 2.5 to 3 weeks before you hit your state meet. So depending on which day you lift on. So ours regional meet's the 3rd. Our state meet is the 21st of March. And then the boys are a week after us. So I believe the boys regionals is March 14th. And then the boys state is the 28th.
Got it. And so for regionals, how do you qualify? Is it those earlier meets?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So the meets throughout the season are all put into a database. We use a software called PowerScore, and it all goes into a big database per region. So like we're in region 6 for boys and girls. It's a little bit different on both sides, but I would say basically from Wichita Falls over to Paris, down below Royce City, over to Fort Worth is our region. So, we have a pretty dense region. It's not the biggest area-wise, but as far as people lifting, a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids involved in that. And so that's our region. And then to get to regionals, you have to get in the top 12 on the boys' side. On the girls' side, it's top 12, or there's also a regional qualifying total. So like if you hit, I don't know, and they'll say the 105s, if you hit a like 525 total or something like that, you automatically qualify to go to regional. So you could have more than 12 if you had more girls hit that qualifying total.
Got it. And so, looking at how you did last year and comparing that to this year, you're expecting a pretty good number that will qualify for regionals, right?
I do. Last year, just off the top of my head, we had 13 boys that qualified for regionals. We had, I believe, 21 girls between equipped and unequipped, because the boys just started unequipped this year. So this is the very first year for that. So I expect those numbers to go up on who all qualifies. Making it to state is harder. And so I can't quite predict that, but I would fully expect all those girls that went to state last year to go again, and fully expect to add a few to that if I'm a coach worth a darn. Right.
Nice. And if you could, let's go through some of the names from this season that either you already see are doing great things or you expect, to show up really well this year.
Well, on the girls' side, I'll start there. Ariana Harillo has been one of the best, most consistent lifters since the day I got here. She's a senior this year. She's a 3-time state qualifier. She got 5th in state last year down in Edinburgh. She's just a great young lady who works really, really hard. She has already eclipsed her total from last year. So at the very first meet, she's already lifted more than she did last year and all the meets last. She's one of those that does a lot of stuff. Like she used to be involved in the band. She's a cheerleader. She used to run track. She does all those kinds of things. And so great multi-sport athlete for us, right? As far as keep going, Tiffany Cabrera. So what's funny is her and Ariana are cousins. But Tiffany's another state qualifier that we had. She's already eclipsed her numbers from last year. She's also a cross-country runner for us. And she's also a senior, and she's a 2-time state qualifier. As I keep going up, Bella Wilkerson, my daughter, she qualified for state last year and got 2nd in the 148s regionally. She's a volleyball player, has done all kinds of stuff, student council and all those things while she's been in high school. Then I have Ariana Hernandez, who qualified for state last year. Kind of a surprise. She kind of surprised herself when she did it, but qualifying for state, she's killing it this year. So she's going to do really, really great with it. On the boys' side, Abram Ramirez, he's awesome. He'll be a 3-year state qualifier, over a 1,600-pound total. Like, he's really kind of like one of the captains of the team that just does everything you ask of him and really helps educate the younger lifters. Yeah. He has a little crew that's kind of together that all ended up qualifying for state, but Gabe Rangel qualified for state last year, and the numbers he put up last week, he'll be fighting for a state medal on the boys' side, and that's really, really hard to do. Sky's the limit for that young man and what he can do. So he'll be a 2-time state qualifier. Isaac Patino already has over a 1,600-pound total. He was our football manager and power lifter, So, yeah. But all these guys I talked about, too, they also played football and those, do other activities as well. And so from there, also Jordan Dunmoody and Eric Coleman. They didn't qualify for state last year, but their numbers are already up there to show they're going to qualify for state this year. And then Dylan Childs coming back. He qualified last year as a sophomore, which is really, really hard to do on the boys' side. But he's also in the band and is big into the marching band and all that kind of stuff. And so getting him in there and seeing what he can do at 132 pounds, he lifts about 1,200 pounds total. Yeah, it's incredible what that guy can do in that little body. Yeah. But I'm really proud of those guys and look forward to big things out of them.
Yeah, so I'm telling people, if you go to Sherman, don't pick fights with any of the kids. They're all strong.
That's right.
But talk to me about the community of powerlifting, because that's one of the words that I hear all the time related to powerlifting. It's a real strong community.
Well, that's the thing is we're all each other's biggest cheerleaders, and that includes schools. Even though we're competing against each other, you have to be able to help each other out, and like I said, like the Denison coaches, even though they're mortal enemies, 1 week out of the year in football and a couple times a year in every other sport, those guys, some of those guys are my best friends. Yeah. And we'll help each other out. I'll help them put on a meet. They'll help me put on a meet. We'll help each other out with kids. And, if they need a kid spot or if I need a kid spotted, we'll help each other out. And then that filters down to the kids, because when you see somebody do something incredible, it's still incredible. It doesn't matter what colors they're wearing, right? And so when you watch, that's one thing all my new lifters always tell me is they didn't realize how many new friends they were going to make, And now they kind of measure everything in their Instagram followers and all that kind of stuff. But, they get all these extra people that are following them or involved with, see them lift and all that. And it's really awesome to see when you have 3, 4, 5, 600 people in a gym and the parents watching them and, they're commenting each other and they're telling each other a great lift or you'll get it next time. And it's awesome. They'll rap each other. It's a lot of fun to see them really come together and help regardless of where they're from or what school they're at.
No, I love that. And I love the community you've built around Sherman powerlifting, because it is spread outside of your walls. The rest of the state has heard about it. I love that.
Well, that's what we try to do. It's one of those things, like when we go places, we want people to realize that, there's lots of good things happening at Sherman. Yeah. And we can spread those seeds to go all around, and if they see how the good things that we're doing, then they can do those exact same things wherever they are. Like, I've got good friends at Prosper that those powerlifting programs are starting to grow. Whenever I go to little schools like Commerce or I go to Howe, Bells, like watching those programs grow and knowing that, we help do that because they're able to see what we can do here. It's awesome.
I love it. Well, Coach Wilkerson, guys, I want to thank you so much for sitting down with me, and I will definitely be checking in later in the season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to thank you for listening to the Bearcat Beat. Each week throughout the school year, you will hear all sorts of great information about all the athletic programs at Sherman ISD. Please do us a favor, like, share, comment, do whatever you can to help us reach more Bearcat fans.
Hey Coach, Lone Star Gridiron has been the leader in Coach's Show podcasts for 20 years, and now you can get your own Coach's Show podcast each week during the season as a fundraiser for your booster club. Yes, booster clubs all over are using these podcasts to help their sports programs. You get to share the stories of your program and your kids to a huge audience and make money. We started with just football, but this year have expanded to make them available for all sports. Call 713-269-4620 to find out the details and get your coach's show started.